Whether you're watching, listening or reading this, welcome back to the Runpreneur vlog, where we're on a mission to raise £1 million for children's charities by run vlogging on consecutive days the distance of one lap around the world. It is a staggering 40,075 kilometres. It's going to take somewhere in the region of 11 years to accomplish, so plenty of time to raise that money. I will commit to running every single day, running whilst vlogging a minimum of 5 kilometres, and I'm even going to do it barefoot style. So for those regulars will know that when I vlog about my passions, which are entrepreneurship and running, and most importantly how these topics can link together to help people overcome the emotions of stress, overwhelm and anxiety by using exercise as a release mechanism. So it is a beautiful morning today. The sun is shining. It is incredibly hot, not too breezy, so hot running conditions, but certainly better than the opposite. And it is Wednesday wellbeing today, where we discuss all things mental health, wellbeing, mindset. And today's topic is the impact of music on your mood. So as always, please give the challenge some support by subscribing to the content and giving it a like and a share. And let's get started. So, music and the impact it has on your mood. Well, hopefully it's no shock that music does have an impact on your mood. I'm sure we all listen to music or sound in some kind of capacity throughout our lives, and I think understanding it a little bit more, it actually becomes a really super powerful tool. Now I go through emotions like anybody does, and understanding that music does have an impact on changing your emotion is really important, because it can pull you out of slumps, it can push you harder when you need to be pushed harder, it can give you kind of relaxation when you need to relax and slow down. There is something for literally every single mood in the music world, and the beauty of it is it's unique and individual to each and every one of us. So there's so many different scenarios in our life where our emotions are like a roller coaster, and I think if you can first and foremost understand the emotion you're experiencing, you can then potentially use music as a way to manage that emotion or control that emotion or bring you back or push you forward, whichever you desire, if you find the right music for you. And there's no one size fits all here. You know, what a heavy metal track spurs somebody to push themselves harder will just sound like horrendous noise and be something that will put people off or put other people off. So it's you have to work this out for yourself, but it's something that I've learned more about recently, where I just heard, I think I read or heard an article or a podcast about this, and I can't remember where I heard it from, but it just stuck with me that people just think of music as recreational, and that's great, but if you truly understand the power of music and sound, it can absolutely revolutionise your world. From a productivity standpoint, from a calming perspective, meditation, relaxation, there's so many different benefits to finding the right music that fits your personality. So I'm just going to try and rattle through a few different situations or scenarios that I often will use music for. Now, occasionally if I've had, a really busy day and I've got a long drive or something back, I often put kind of slower or kind of, I often listen to love songs, to be honest with you, and they relax me, and they're slow paced, they're quite meaningful, emotional. So when I've had a hard day, I want to wind down, that helps me. So I listen to that. I also used to listen to Steve Wright's Sunday morning love songs on BBC Radio 2 after Sunday morning long runs. I don't run quite as early anymore, so I generally miss that radio show. But again, after I've exerted myself quite hard, I found that love songs again just relaxed me and it wound me down quite nicely. When I'm running, for example, I'll often listen to rhythmic tunes, so stuff that, a sensible speed, a sensible bounce that just keeps me wanting to go over and over and over and keep going. And one of the best songs for this that I found is Wheels by the Foo Fighters. it's just that beat, that do do do. I can't sing it because I'm running and I'm vlogging, and I realise that's probably quite embarrassing, but it does have just this reoccurring beat and rhythm, and it just fits with my running style quite nicely. So I listen to that song, I can kind of just keep going. I feel I can just keep going. I feel I get into a really nice pattern, so that's nice for kind of long distance. If I was doing something short and sharp and harder training sessions, something like the Omen by the Prodigy, it just ramps up and ramps up and ramps up, really quick beats, and it can push you, and you can find that extra spurt of energy or adrenaline that you wouldn't experience. So I'm referring a lot to running here because I have a couple of days a week where I generally listen to running. The rest of the time I'm listening to Audible books. And again, something about Audible and books is it's delivered in a regular rhythmic tone, so a speed of the information that's being processed. So again, it's really good for kind of running because it stays a pretty standard or consistent pace. So you're listening to words being delivered at a consistent speed, which helps you kind of find that sync when you're running, which is why I like listening to audiobooks so much when I'm running. So that's another one that's really, really useful. The other ones, you can get happy related songs are great for pulling you up from a bad position. So when you're feeling down or emotionally drained, listening to a song that you've linked to a happy memory can be amazing. And all my kids have got kind of baby songs. So when my wife was pregnant with each of my kids, there was a song which resonated with each pregnancy. So whenever I'm sad, if I listen to one of those 3 songs, instantly I feel happy. And it's amazing to understand that power and to almost have your kind of Spotify or your Apple Music playlists by your mood. And that's the thing that I find quite interesting sometimes is obviously how these big music providers can catalogue tunes by mood, because what works for one person's mood will be very different to somebody else. But it's a good place to start, I suppose, if you're looking for certain inspiration to pick you up when you're down or to suppress you when you're too high. The other thing is you can be too excited, too much on a high. Sometimes soft, soothing music can relax you and can bring you right back down to a more kind of consistent, stable mood, if that makes sense. And I think we're all highly volatile with moods. I think some of us can control it naturally better than others, but that doesn't mean that there isn't the same volatility. It's just in a suppressed level. That's probably contradicted itself a little bit there with that statement, but hopefully you understand. Some people's volatility is significantly higher and lower, but other people still have the same degree of volatility, but just at a more condensed range. So if that makes sense with your mood. And I think the people, especially with really high spikes and really low lows, I think music can be a really, really cool tool to kind of help you that. I'm more suppressed, I'm more in the kind of volatility range, but less the lower highs and higher lows, if that makes sense. It's probably where I sit. So I'm quite good at controlling this myself through my own mind and understanding of how my mind and mood works. But I do certainly use music in certain situations that can give me the edge or take the edge off, depending on what I need at that given moment. So I hope that's useful. I've explained how it works and the impact of music on mood. I've explained how it can have an impact on you in lots of different ways. I've given you loads of examples in my world of where music has helped me in certain scenarios. And so why should you do this? Well, it's an amazing tool. I mean, from a productivity standpoint, if you feel negative emotions or low, then instantly it kind of demotivates you as an individual. If you can find music which can lift your mood when you're feeling those lows, it will pick you up really quickly and motivate you again to crack on and move forward. So as a productivity tool in itself, it can be hugely powerful. So if that reason alone is there, you should definitely consider this as incorporating it as part of your life. You probably do subconsciously already, but not with purpose behind what you're actually listening to, rather than just putting stuff on for the sake of putting stuff on. The other one is sports performance. You can definitely get some increased sports performance with the right music. You can get consistent sports performance with a slightly different type of music. So think about it from that perspective, and being able to get those little extra marginal gains out from your performance in all capacities of your life, it will make a game-changing difference. So that's pretty much it for me today. As always, if you've got any questions and stuff, drop me a comment. I'll respond to everyone. If it's a bigger topic, I'll do a separate vlog episode and I'll tag you in. Do check the links in my bios where you can keep up to date with the Runpreneur challenge of raising £1 million for children's charities by run vlogging on consecutive days, the distance of one lap around the world. You can see how much money we've raised, how far we've travelled, and how you can get involved financially and non-financially. So all I have to say is that, as always, my content has always been geared around helping people overcome the emotions of stress, overwhelm and anxiety by using exercise as a release mechanism. I use run vlogging, but there's lots of different exercises you can use. You can even use, when I say exercise, it can be in the realms of yoga, meditation. These are all different types of exercise, which it's almost like exercising your mind in that regard. So there's no, we all experience the daily pressures in our lives in the form of stress. And it's often how we kind of process what's happened, kind of gain clarity, refocus, clear our heads and move on. It's often something that a lot of people are unaware of, but it can be make a massive difference on how you kind of progress in your life and how successful or unsuccessful you become. Now, if you don't have this mechanism in your life, this release mechanism, these daily pressures in the form of stress are going to evolve and build up like pressure builds in a pipe. And you end up switching into overwhelm mode, where you've got too many things going on in your head to process at any given point in time. And then very quickly it can evolve even further to panic and anxiety. And if we go back to the pipe analogy, the pressure gets so high, the pipe will burst and you have a breakdown, and a mental health breakdown. And believe you me, you really don't want to go there. I've been there before. I've lost businesses because of it. I've lost business partners and I've almost been bankrupt because of it. So I wouldn't wish it upon my worst enemy. And there's no coincidence that in the last 13 months of doing this running vlog, which is my release mechanism, I've made more progress in all facets of my life than I have done in the previous 5 years. So hopefully there's enough social proof to show you that this stuff really works. So my pledge to you is that if you are someone who's struggling with this, drop me a message, okay? There's no catch here whatsoever. Runpreneur is a not-for-profit organisation. We don't sell anything. We don't charge you for anything. Yes, we raise money via donations, but it's always optional, never essential. So if you are struggling with this, drop me a message. We'll get you a step-by-step guide out on how you can find your release mechanism and how you can add that to your life so that you can get your life back on the right track. And I'll even jump on a call if needs be to give you that step-by-step advice. I've helped hundreds of entrepreneurs do exactly this over the years through my different businesses. So I'm fairly well qualified to kind of give you this advice. So help is there. It's often free of charge if you're just prepared to ask for it. And it's often easier asking a stranger than nearest and dearest. So that's pretty much it for me today. As always, please support the challenge by checking the links in the bios and finding out how you can get involved. And I'll leave you with, as always, is stay positive, stay happy, and I'll see you tomorrow.